People are not black and white. They're gray. I'm Fran Spielman, and I'm the City Hall reporter. Ed Burke is the longest-serving alderman in the history of Chicago, probably always it will be. 54 years he stayed. He was the chairman of the Finance Committee when that was really important. Virtually every development project went through his committee. He was a good alderman. He delivered for his constituents. He got the streets plowed. He got the garbage picked up. He did the things, the favors. He got jobs for constituents and their kids. He helped people. There were a lot of good things that he did, or else he wouldn't have been elected over and over again. His dad was an alderman. He grew up in politics. He learned the game, and he played it very well. My late husband, who was a reporter for WIND Radio, covered Burke as he entered the council with Ed Verdoliak. And at the time, my husband Dick Stone told me that Burke was the follower, Verdoliak was the leader. Verdoliak had the guts, Burke went along. And that's the way pretty much it stayed, even during council wars, where Burke was the extremist who was put out there to do and say very outrageous things. At one point he demanded, for example, that Washington resign because he hadn't filed his ethics statement on time, an administrative violation. But Burke would do these extreme things, and Verdoliak would be the power player, the puppeteer behind the scenes. As it turned out, slow but steady won the race. Verdoliak was impatient. He wanted to be mayor. Had he stayed in the council and just held his fire, he would have been mayor because he would have been elected acting mayor when Harold Washington died. Instead, Burke was the guy who had the staying power. And then he became a leader. He was a lawyer at the law firm of Clafter and Burke.
I don't think a lot of people understand the law firm of Clafter and Burke, which there is no Clafter. He died decades ago. So Clafter and Burke is really Ed Burke, and it's Ed Burke and 3 other lawyers, one of whom is his daughter. So this is all they do. They do nothing else but appeal property tax assessments.
And that is alleged is what he allegedly muscled people to say, hey, you want this from the city? You want a subsidy? You want to get on my agenda? Then I'd like you to hire Clafter and Burke to do your property tax appeals.
But yet here's a man who is appealing the taxes for years on Trump Tower. We calculated that Burke has saved Trump $14 million in taxes.
Well, there were 3 different incidents, allegedly. There was the Burger King in Burke's ward, where they allegedly held up I believe it was a drive-through permit.
They needed to obtain some permits from the city to do the work, including driveway permits. So they went to the alderman for help. He informed them of the other things he could do for them, very subtly, that he has a law business that specializes in property tax assessments. They told him they already had somebody that does that. Their reluctance, their reticence to pick up on his cue, if you will, delayed their project for well over a year.
Because of John Seidel's hard work and his diligence, found out that Danny Solis, that there was this affidavit that had been left unsealed, that Danny Solis had been caught doing all kinds of sleazy things. That's what's so unique about this. 2 power players, 2 parts of the Chicago power structure, one wiring up the other 12 times or more, and Danny was in a position to put Burke with the people he needed to pitch the legal business to. Solis used his control as zoning chair to allegedly muscle the developers of the old post office to hire Clafter and Burke. And then there was a Northwest Side project, something with a sign or a light post or something. So again, his tentacles throughout the government allowed him, and his finance chair position, and his relationship with Danny Solis, the partnership that they allegedly had to work together in tandem to allegedly muscle people, gave him the power to do these things and to hold things up until he got what he wanted. It's extraordinary to me, as he approaches his 80th birthday, is fighting for his freedom. I mean, we can't prejudge anything, but the federal government doesn't usually go after big fish like this. And with the winning streak that the government has been on, you have to believe that Burke's chances are not good.